Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We made it. Hope you're here with us too.
Gosh, we're so sorry we're late, you guys. A couple minutes. We've been making sure that we don't have any tech issues today.
Yeah. Yep. So happy Saturday morning. It's July 10th. And wow, we're almost to the middle of July. Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
So,
wow,
yeah.
Where did this month go?
We hope you had a great 4th of July and it was safe.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't too loud.
It was pretty loud around here.
Yeah,
We were kind of surprised because, well, I guess not that surprised, but they banned, made fireworks illegal in our area because we have a burn ban going on. It's so dry here, and we heard a lot this year.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yep. But hey, we made it through. So did you. Here we are.
Here we are.
So yeah, today we are doing edible flowers. This is pretty cool.
I know. This is a really cool topic, and it's interesting to think there's probably so many things you're growing right now that you didn't even realize you could eat if you wanted to.
We found out that there's a bunch of things in our garden that we could actually eat. And we're like, really? Okay,
there's a
cool.
lot more that's edible than not that I just didn't realize some of these plants that are edible. It's pretty interesting. So so what's everybody up to? We threw a question in the chat and asked what garden projects do you have going on this weekend?
Looks like Dana chimed in. She's got a rain barrels.
Oh, that's so cool. I know Dana said
Good
they
job,
got
Dana.
a pump for their pressure in there so they can use it, like in their hose.
Yeah. A lot of rain barrels, they're gravity fed, and so there's not a lot of pressure, especially if the hose is up higher than where it's coming out at.
Good call,
So that pump, that's really going to help you guys out. That's cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, great job. I wish that we would have had more rain here. It's been pretty dry.
Pretty dry.
Definitely collect that rainwater. Just, you're lucky to have it. That's awesome, Dana. Yeah. Really cool.
So, right on. Anybody else got any
we've got lots of people. We should say, so hi to Dana.
Yep.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Dana.
Hi,
Good
Jennifer
morning.
Tennyson.
Morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Stromy53.
Oh, good morning, Stromy.
Let's see. We've got, so Jennifer Tennyson mentioned that she's staying indoors today out of the heat.
Oh, wow.
So
Pretty
she
hot,
said
huh?
she's working on getting more sunflowers started from seed. Awesome. So let's see what else is going on.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, a whole bunch of people just chimed in. Okay.
Hey, I see
Good morning
Mark.
from South Florida to Tawania Franklin. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced your name, but thank you so much for being here, and we're thankful that you're here.
And I see Mark's here.
Mark's here.
Morning, Mark.
Thank you, Dana. Dana said that just wanted to say our new garden beds look so pretty.
Thank you.
She asked how the drip system is working.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're still fine-tuning it. We need to add a little bit. We need to add a couple more spaghetti hoses to it and some emitters. But it's okay.
I know. It's always kind of a trial and error at first, right?
Oh,
Until you get it perfect, till you have it how you want it.
Especially with the new garden bed, a new irrigation system.
Yeah.
And so, but it's good. Yeah, we would recommend the system to anybody. I mean, it's great.
I know. I'm super happy with it. It's been awesome so far. We also have it in our side garden in our backyard, and it's working really well. So, thanks for asking, Dana. Yeah. Good morning, Mark. How are you, Mark? It's probably
Mark.
really hot there, right?
Yeah,
El Paso.
right. El Paso. Woo, man.
Oh, let's see.
Super warm.
Mark says he's taking the weekend off. Lots of rain and humidity, and the weeds have taken over.
Oh, wow, man. But take it off.
Yeah,
you deserve some time off. You work really hard on your garden.
I know, really.
So, man.
So, Mark, we wanted to say thank you for your recent comment on the Shasta Daisy video. We just put out kind of a little later last night.
Yeah, yesterday.
We just got that out, and you inspired us to look up a bunch of, or for me anyway, there's a lot of varieties of Shasta Daisies that I'd never heard of that you're growing.
There's a lot of them, man. Yeah, and so, a lot of variety out there to choose from, and really appreciate you chiming in and letting us know what you have in your garden.
Definitely have added a couple of those to our list now. That what was it called? Oh La La Spider, Mark, that you're growing, the Shasta Daisy. That is gorgeous. It has the word spider in it, though, so I'm a little, turned off just from that standpoint, but it's a gorgeous plant, so I think that's maybe on our list now.
Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll see what the zone's like and that type of thing. Yeah.
So pretty.
So, right on. So what else is going on in there?
Let's see. Yeah, people are just, Dana said, drips take a bit to get right. So, they do.
Yep.
Dana, how are your elephant ears?
Oh,
let us know. We have one on camera here.
It's
we'll
over
show
there.
you. Let's see if we can grab this.
You got it.
This is one of our cute guys.
Yeah, it's doing really well. Got more of them. We got to get it out of this tiny little pot.
I know. This is on probably our list this weekend. We need to get these guys planted. Yeah. So we're loving those, though. They're really starting to come up. They take a while to kind of get going. You know, and then
ours did. Yeah. Yeah, so we're excited to have them. We're going to place a couple of these in our terrace area that we're still developing, getting going. Got kind of sidelined a little bit there the last couple months, just for all different kinds of reasons, but it's finally moving forward. We're waiting for the, yeah, I know, it's exciting.
It's so fun, I know.
We're waiting for the soil to come on Tuesday that we can add and mix in and amend all our soil in the terrace beds, and then we're going to start planting. So it's coming together really well.
Together. I know, next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So excited, you guys.
Yep. So that's where that one's going, along with some other plants that we have.
I know.
So yeah,
a lot of plants
really
ready
cool.
to go in there. So
yeah,
if you guys are still planting things and sowing seeds, so are we. I mean, we've got stuff all over our yard ready to go in the ground. So it's never too late. I mean, there are optimal times, right? But it's like,
it's okay.
If you're in the middle of a project, like
it's project by project.
Yeah.
Yep, dependent. So pretty good stuff.
So good.
So what else going on in there?
Mark thank you, Mark. Mark says he has to mention it again, but our Shasta Daisies look incredible.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Love to see some pictures of yours as well. All those varieties you're growing. So if you're able to send us a photo, just email us at SeanandAllison@spokengarden.com.
Yeah.
We'd love to see them.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah.
And he said the dahlias in his garden are on the way too. So that's cool.
Awesome.
And Dana mentioned her elephant ears are doing awesome in both containers and the ground. So cool, Dana.
Great. Woohoo.
She said hers are small, kind of, we can totally relate. They're small, but they are growing, fast. So I know I'm ready to see those big, leaves, all that huge foliage. It's so fun. Yeah. So you guys, it's so great. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah. Really missed you guys.
Yeah,
last week it was weird being off. And,
it was.
Not talking with you guys. So we're glad you're all here. Glad we're here to do this, and it's gonna be fun today.
I know this will be fun. I know edible flowers. So we're curious if any of you grow any flowers that you're aware of in your garden right now that you eat regularly, like you go and grab and throw in your salad or prepare in a different way. We would love to hear about that a little later in the show.
Yeah, be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, should we get to questions?
Yep, let's do some questions.
So we're going to do, by the way, I don't know, for those of you that are watching that maybe don't know us, did we introduce ourselves? Sometimes.
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Sometimes we get so excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
So.
I'm Sean. This is Allison. Yep, we're Spoken Garden, if you don't know. And we teach new gardeners different skills and how to help them become better. So, so that's why we're here. It's why we have this channel. It's why we do our podcasts and our blog, and it's why we're here.
Why we wrote a book.
Yep. We hope we can help you in some way with your garden and what you're doing right now in your garden. So,
Yay, yeah, definitely.
So okay. So
all right.
questions.
So our first question today is comes from J Crane 45585. On our double impatience care video from a couple weeks ago. So, double impatience, so beautiful.
Impatience, gorgeous.
This was a plant chat.
Double impatience.
Oh, I know, it's right there. Oh, I just love that plant. We do a plant chat every Friday, by the way, if you weren't aware of that. So, okay, Jay Crane says, I bought 2 of these this year, and I love them. They are expensive where I am, so is there a way to propagate them or grow them from seed?
Yes, there is. Yeah, they can be very expensive. And so, you can definitely grow them from seed. You can find the seed from different online retailers like Eden Brothers. They have some. You can definitely get them from them. Park Seed, you should try Park Seed too. And there's a bunch of different kinds of seed companies out there. But you can do them by seed. You can also take stem tip cuttings later in the summer, and you can just propagate those. They're going to need to be protected over the winter, and what you'll do is you'll take the stem cuttings and I would use root tone, some type of root tone, and plant growth regulator to get the roots to grow, encourage them, and then keep them in a protected area, keep the stress levels down, keep them under light sun, really shady, kind of protected, and so they don't have that heat stress, but they can really grow their roots. And you want to keep them under protection and above, above 50 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the winter, if possible, and then plant them out next spring. So you can take cuttings this summer, right now, and then you just keep them up, keep them healthy, and then plant them out next year. And they should be really well rooted. You should have a decent plant above ground too, to plant out and get flowers, have flowers on it. So
I love that idea. That'd be really fun to try growing from seed.
yeah, I mean, we could take cuttings from this. Yeah, and so if you don't know stem tip cuttings, basically what you would do is like right here, you can't really see it, but there's no flower on this. You want to wait till they're done flowering, or if you don't have anywhere where the plant is not flowering, go ahead and take the cutting, and you would just take this stem right here. Maybe I can show. No, it doesn't really show it that well here, but basically you take the stem cutting, take about 4 to 6 inches if you can, maybe a little bit more if possible. Take that cutting, strip the leaves off, the stem down below, that's going to go below the dirt, dip it in root tone, put it in your potting soil, and then pinch off any flower buds, because you don't want the plant to think, oh hey, I'm still in reproductive mode. You want it to be in growth mode, in vegetative mode. So you remove those buds, you remove any flowers, and then it'll help the whole process along a lot faster.
That's a great idea.
So yeah, so anyway, so I hope that answers your question.
We want more of those.
J. Crane.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be fun to try.
Yep.
That'd be a really fun experiment.
More propagation experiments, please.
I know, which we love. I know we've got some on our list right now, you guys. We need to talk about that. I've got some in my head anyway that I'm like, oh, I'm ready to take some cuttings.
We'll fit it in with all the other projects.
I know, all our other projects. Okay, so our next question comes from Silver Hippie.
Awesome.
So, I know, I love that name. So this is a propagation question on
cool.
our salvia cuttings. We took the hot lip salvia last year.
Yes.
We did an update video on what rooted and kind of showed that. So the question is, when they get good long roots like that, can you just plant them in the yard?
So yeah, so what they're referencing in that video is we transplanted them out from where we rooted them from into other pots to further develop their root systems and their tops, so they would get bigger, they'd get stronger, and they would have a better chance of survival once we did. We already planted them out in the garden actually, but that's why when you have cuttings, you transplant them and pot them up and put them into their own pot, and maybe graduate different pot levels at certain times when they get big enough. It's because you want to get them healthy enough and robust enough to actually survive out in your garden. You want to increase the survivability. So to do that, you get them more mature, you get them bigger, you have them develop a better root system so they can gather water and nutrients more easily out in the garden. Because if we would have taken the cuttings that we had and just basically took them from after just rooting, and they did have nice root systems.
They did.
But if we would have taken them and put them out in the garden right then and there, their survivability rate would have been kind of low. It would have been lower than having us pot them up and further develop that root system to give them a better chance to survive. So it's just something to think about. And it also depends on your timetable. It depends on the time of year you're going to plant them out there in your garden. And so you just got to kind of balance these things out. I always default to taking cuttings. From my experience, I default to taking the cuttings after they root, pot them up. Just pot them up no matter what, and then further develop those systems, the root systems and the top portion of the plant, so it has a better chance of surviving once we do put it out in the garden. So, but it's everybody's own choice, but that's why we did what we did.
And it's hard because you're like, I don't know, you get anxious. You want to get it in the ground and get it growing and get it flowering and enjoy it, but it's probably best to take the time to just kind of nurture it a little bit longer, right? And you'll have a healthier plant.
Yeah, you want to get it bigger. You really do. I mean, that's why the nursery people actually, when they do the cuttings, they pot them up. They put them into larger systems so they can get further developed, so they're just stronger plants. And so, yeah.
We're still doing that with some of our cuttings from last summer. We have some lavender. Some of it's waiting to go in what do we have up here? Oh yeah, we have a rosemary.
Here's our rosemary. Now this is one of our cuttings. It's doing great.
Yeah, it is.
It's put on a lot of growth.
Quick. Hold on.
It's done really well since we transplanted it. There's a video on that too. But yeah, so this is still in a pot. We want to put this out in the terrace coming up here.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna put that in the terrace.
excuse me. What's going on is it's still in the pot because it's still developing its root system, and so I can basically do this. It might get a little messy here, folks. So just bear with me. Really messy.
Hey, don't spill it in my tea.
You see those roots right there?
Oh wow, look at that.
Can you see those roots? Yep. That's what you want to see before you actually even think about putting it out in the garden, because if you don't, again, its survivability is just going to be really low. So, yeah, we made a mess. I made a mess.
That's okay.
I'm a mess maker.
That's all right. It's our plant table.
That's right.
We have a tablecloth down, but what's the point of keeping it?
Yeah, I just cleaned it off this
I'd
morning.
rather just play with the plants.
Okay.
But that's cool. You know what? That smells so good right now.
Yeah, I know. I can smell it too. I haven't even.
You guys know that rosemary smell.
Man.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So anyway, that's
fun to see.
why we did what we did.
I know.
So
I'm gonna put this up to the side. Okay.
Okay.
That's fun. Yeah, there's a lot of there's so many cuttings you can take right now too, right? We have I think we're planning a video coming up this month about that.
Yes, I believe so.
I think that's on our
coming
schedule.
up. Yep, summer cuttings to take.
Oh, totally.
Softwood, hardwood, what's acceptable, what plants you should be looking at, how to take them. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. So anyway, coming up.
Yay. I made a note just in case. We'll check our production schedule.
And by the way, if anyone out there wants to give us a topic for our Saturday our Saturday lives in August, we want to hear what you want us to talk about for a garden topic.
Totally.
And so we're running a contest too for each person's topic that we pick for each Saturday in August. You get to win some prizes, and we have more of that information coming. That's still kind of developing. We're gathering the prizes as we speak. And so, but anyway, so if you have any topics that you want us to cover, email us at SeanandAllison@spokengarden.com or leave it in the comments here down below on this video, so we can know what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about, and help you with out in your garden. So pretty much anything goes. Let us know.
I know. Thank you for remembering that. We meant to say that earlier, and we've already had some really good topics come in.
Yeah.
So I just realized we didn't put an end date to this, so we're just going to keep running it for a while, right?
Yeah, we
can. We want to just encourage you to get your ideas. So cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think an end date would be easy. Is just July 31st.
Right.
July 30th, whatever the day is.
I know July. Yeah, it is the 31st.
But yeah, it's just just run it until then, because
right up to the end.
Right up to the end, man.
Right to the end.
Yep. So anyway,
I love that.
Woohoo! We're excited.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I know you can tell. Okay, real quick, let's say hi to a bunch of people that chimed in. So good morning to everyone out there. We've got Sharon LaFay here.
Hey, morning, Sharon.
Morning, Sharon. Sherry, good morning.
Good morning, Sherry. Glad you're with us.
Yeah, I know. We're glad you're here, Sherry. She said that she was wondering how everyone's dealing with the heat in the garden.
Right?
And she said she's not happy about it. She doesn't enjoy this period of,
The extreme heat is not fun for me either. Somebody here really likes the heat.
I like the heat,
she
but
really likes the heat.
Not when it fries the plants. Like we had to run around that one week and like put tarps and ladders up everywhere.
It was over 100 degrees and we're throwing tarps
days
up
in a row
over plants.
We just planted all these begonias and we're like, they're gonna die.
That was fun. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah. Hey Sharon, I'm with you. About 80 degrees, topping out 80 degrees. I'm good. Anything past that, I'm a typical Pacific Northwesterner. I really don't care for the hot weather.
I know.
I really
don't mind the 80s, but yeah, you're right. Anything over that, oof.
Yeah.
We're not used to that here.
Not the best.
Just not acclimated to that, But I hope you guys, we hope you're doing whatever you need to do in your garden to kind of protect your plants.
Stay cool. Keep that watering up. If you have grass, water that, because that actually keeps the area around your house cooler because of the water evaporation coming off. I know my parents, they have all that grass around their yards in the front and the back, and it keeps a lot of the air around their house cooler.
That's true.
And so it helps. They can bring that air in. It acts really well. It does really well for them. So
nice. Yeah. I forgot about that.
And Mom, Dad, if you're out there, hi.
I know. Morning.
Good morning.
Also, good morning to Andrea B. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Oh, Andrea. Good morning, Andrea.
Andrea said she was loving all the propagation chat.
Awesome. So, are you gonna propagate anything, Andrea? What's your plan there? Sounds like there could be a plan there. So let us know.
We would love to hear. Maybe you'll give us some ideas.
Yeah,
too,
give us some
even
ideas.
Even though we've got a long list of propagation
coming up.
Gotta make some room in the greenhouse. Right now we're just using it for storage. We just keep throwing all the extra.
There's been talk too, guys, of expanding the greenhouse another 6 feet. Right. So yeah.
I can't believe you brought that up. I'm so excited.
Well, I want to do it.
Now it has to happen.
I want to do it. It's
Yay.
just add it to
it's
the
another
list.
project, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of like, if you can, I don't know, a lot of you that have been watching our videos, thank you again, but we've been on a little bit of project overload. We kind of revamped everywhere in our yard that we could. So we're kind of a little burnout on projects.
Almost every part of our yard has had an update this year.
Yes.
Update.
And we're still in the
So,
middle of the terrace.
yeah.
So,
So anyway,
okay. So yeah,
gotta stay busy. Keeps us out of trouble, right?
I have more projects. So
Okay.
I have a list, but we're there. Okay, so backing up, Mark has a question about, this is really interesting. He said he's been seeing all these sales at Home Depot and Lowe's about mulch. And he was wondering, what's the deal with rubber mulch? Any pros, cons? He's like, I've never used it.
Rubber mulch is, it kind of depends on your stance of using rubber and plastic and all these things out in the landscape. It's a good way to, it does work from the standpoint as a mulch of helping with reducing erosion, insulating plants. Actually, for insulation too, rubber, most of the rubber, it's from what I've seen, it's more of a darker color, so it's going to take in more heat. And in the wintertime, that's great because it'll actually help keep the soil a little bit warmer and the area a little bit warmer around the plants, especially above ground. So that could be a benefit if you need that, if your plants want that in the area you're at. It's good to be able to recycle things in general. So recycled material, shredded tires, bring it in. It's, it just kind of depends.
What chemicals are you bringing into your yard though?
Well,
right?
and you don't know because there's probably not on the bag a list of, hey, these came from Louisiana, I'm just saying, local source, right? Regional source. These came from Louisiana, the tire recycle shop, and we shredded them all, and now we're selling them as mulch. Here you go. I mean,
That's
you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You really don't know. And for chemicals coming off and possibly leaching out of it, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough actual research that's been done on that to technically say whether it's good or it's bad. Chances are, well, I don't even know. I don't even want to speak to that. It's basically, I mean, I just don't know from that standpoint of it. We've never used it before.
Kind of a personal choice, maybe?
It definitely can be. If you're going for a specific look in your landscape, that would work well for, or something maybe a little bit softer, if the rubber is kind of a softer type of rubber, and you're worried about animals or even kids being around, and you want something a little bit softer that's not going to create splinters, that could be good. But then also, being around all that stuff, maybe that's not the best thing for your kids either, or your animals, because they might eat it.
I was just thinking that,
Yeah,
if they put it in their mouth.
It's a great question, Mark.
Yeah, really good question. I know. I think it's,
yeah.
I guess that lends to more research, what.
And like you said, personal preference.
And how does it react with certain plants you might already have? Like, I don't know.
Some plants might like it, some plants might not.
Yeah, interesting.
As an insulation, rubber as itself as an insulation, it's not that bad. But as far as, long-term effects out in the garden and the environment and interactions with water and heat and breaking down over time, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of question marks. I think I can speak for both Allison and I. Say we probably wouldn't have it in our garden, but that's just us.
Well, we're such a proponent, as most of you know, of arborist or wood chip mulch because it just breaks down. We've like revamped again the soil all over our yard, which was pretty bad before we really started getting our garden set up. Grandpa that lived here before we moved in just didn't really take care of things.
No, it was bare dirt around the plants, and it was a little rough on the plants. They were not doing that great. But with the addition of the arborist mulch, or a natural type of mulch that actually breaks down and adds different nutrients and even carbon that breaks down even further for microorganisms and whatnot, it creates a more healthy soil. So I think we would say, a more natural source of mulch is the way to go.
Yeah.
If possible. It might not be possible where you live. I mean, everybody out there, you might not have a lot of availability of that. So you got to go with what's available.
I know.
So, but yeah, for us, arborist mulch is the best bet.
And we usually get a chip drop from a local company, but I think they're a national chip drop.
Chip drop, yeah. I mean,
It's free.
chipdrop.com or something like that. Yeah, it's online. It's free to us. And then you just let them know, do you want chip and logs? Maybe no logs. We usually don't take logs because the logs usually they're pretty darn big. They're like 2 to 4 feet wide, 2 to 4 feet in diameter. They're huge. And then long, they can be 4 feet to 8 feet or bigger. I mean, it just depends on the rig and the organization, the actual arborist doing the work and what they're hauling around. So, but yeah, so it can come in 1 week up to 6 weeks. you might get some surprises. You might get, you know, a pop can or maybe a little bit of plastic or something in it, maybe. But a lot of times you don't. We haven't had really a bad experience with it.
We usually kind of inspect it when we get it and kind of pull anything out that doesn't, we don't want in our garden.
But it's a mix of, you know, the leafy material that's been shredded, and then there's also the chip, the actual wood pieces. There's bark. There's the inner core of the heartwood of the trees. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in it, and it all breaks down at different over time at different levels. And especially with that, with the arborist mulching, you get the shredded leaves, the green leaves. Those are almost like instant breaking down, like nutrients. You want to try and get that on your soil, around your plants and their roots, you know, as soon as possible, really, because that starts breaking down the fastest, and that releases a lot of nutrients really fast into the soil to help your plants stay healthy. So anyway, there's a lot to it. There's so much to different kinds of mulch and things. But great question,
really
Mark.
Good question, Mark. Thank you.
Really great question.
Let's see. Okay, and he also likes your T-shirt.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, it's a lion. It's actually, we're supposed to be a family show, but this is from a local brewer, actually kind of local, regional, up in Bellingham, Aslan Brewing. So you can probably get these online. Aslan, Aslan. Great adult beverages. So
really good beer.
Yeah, really good beer.
So we haven't been there in years.
So yeah. So anyway, thanks, man. Thanks. I like this. One of my favorite.
I know.
shirts.
I love that shirt too. I forgot about that. That's good. Good morning to Amber Beers. Sorry,
Amber.
we're a little behind here, but this was such. Thank you. This just like made my morning, and you haven't even heard this yet. She said, "I can't be more grateful for your Saturday lives."
Oh, Amber, thank you.
So nice. Thank you.
Thank you for saying
Amber.
that.
Thank you
we
for being here.
appreciate you, and we're grateful you're here too.
We have so much fun with these.
Yeah, we do actually.
We're so excited for Saturday morning.
Yeah.
There's so many questions and things coming in, you guys. Stromy had some questions. We might have to kind of come back to those. She was wondering. She's like, "Oh, please give tips on fertilizing and using chemicals like fungicides in this heat. I need to treat my tomatoes."
Yeah.
So maybe we'll come back to that one. Sherry mentioned she's using shade cloth umbrellas and lots of water monitoring for the heat.
Awesome.
Between the heat and the pests, she said she feels like a plant doctor. Yeah, Sherry, right? I know. We kind of felt.
Yeah,
like
Mark, we gotta give Sherry an honorary lab coat.
I know, right?
Yeah,
she needs a lab coat.
She needs a lab coat. She's doing the work. She's
that should be one of our new emojis. Actually, I think they already have a lab or coat emoji.
Oh, okay.
We've been coming up with some emojis to add for you guys. I think they're called super stickers or super chats or. We're still kind of looking into this.
Yeah, it's all based on the membership stuff, but yeah.
Oh, maybe that's something different.
It's part of it, but yeah. So there's, I mean, I think in the chat here, if you do at least on ours, you do the
let's try these.
The Windows button and the period key, it'll pop up as an emoji.
Here, I'm gonna throw these.
I don't know what you need to do if you're on an Apple product.
We
but
need
it's
to fix
similar.
these. They have a white background, so we'll fix these up. But we're working on having some like fun emojis that we can all use and that are like personalized for our show.
Yeah.
So
totally.
We're gonna play around with these a little bit, but yeah, like you said, it's down at the bottom left. There's the little smiley face emoji.
What if you hit the window key and the period button and see if the lab coat comes up if you type
We do
in
have a lab coat. I know there is one.
There it is.
I've used it on
cool.
Instagram before.
Lab coat.
So here you go, Sherry. There's Sherry's lab coat. Okay, you guys are probably like, what is going on?
Yeah, sorry. Detour.
So, okay, I know I've missed some things. Soupwant Gardening Lover is here from India.
Hey.
So hi. He asked how we were doing.
We're doing good, man. How are you doing?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
It's probably what, afternoon or evening in India? I can't
16,
remember
18 hours.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's way farther ahead.
Yeah. It might be Sunday there.
Wow. Yeah. We'll have to look later.
Yeah. Wow.
Lots of really fun things going on. I know Andrea mentioned that she's already propagated petunias and salvia.
Awesome. Good job,
and
Andrea.
I love this. She says, definitely expand your greenhouse.
So thank you, Andrea.
You guys will.
Yep. We want to.
I think we'll start talking about that maybe later maybe in the fall.
Actually, of all the projects we've done this year so far, that's probably going to be the least material heavy project.
I know. It's been an expensive season. If you guys have been adding and expanding your garden, wood is so expensive right now. Yep. Concrete or block material is really expensive.
Everything's going up.
We're kind of just, minding our budget. We want to get, I'm just like, I want to get this done, but you've been really helpful in being like, okay, wait, it doesn't all have to be done right away. You know, we can do it in phases. So I'm being as patient as I can. I just keep buying new plants.
You are. You're being very patient. You're being very patient. You're doing good.
I'm working on it. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to, and if I missed anything or we missed anything, just let us know again. Maybe drop it in the chat one more time. But we love all these questions and comments.
Thanks, you guys. This is awesome. This is fun.
Okay, so back to let's see. Robin Moser had a question on our How to Harvest Zinnia Seeds video. So this is kind of semi-timely, right? Because that's something you might be doing by the end of the summer, or you could do it now.
Depending on where you're living and how far along your plants are in the reproductive cycle. Yeah.
How to harvest zinnia seeds. Okay, so the question is, would it be feasible for me to do some kind of plastic tie label gently around a stem to identify the color of a certain kind of zinnia within a garden? Within a garden, a mixed bunch of zinnias. I'm not sure I'm understanding this. Okay, so within a mixed bunch of garden zinnias, Robin wants to have a certain color tie to tie around the stem,
or a label.
Or okay.
Yeah, it's either a colored thing, or it's a colored label, or it's a actual label, written label, I would say. And yeah, I think it's a great idea because if you can identify what the plant is in that mix, if you're able to do that, and then before it actually loses its color, loses its form, and starts withering and dying and setting seed. So, because when it does all that, it's hard to identify it, right? But when it's in full color, full bloom, it's a lot easier to identify. Yeah, so you should definitely put a tie on it, put a label on it. And so later on when you come back and the seeds are all set and you want to harvest seeds, yeah, you can definitely know what it is. That's a great idea. And we wanted to put this down too because not only do you want to do this, it's a great idea to do this for collecting seeds, but even for staking or making sure plants have that support. Putting a tie on plants is a great idea.
Yeah.
The only thing, whether you're doing it for a label or you're doing it for support structure, make sure it's not super tight and snug around the plant. And the reason for that is because the plant over time, even if it's an annual, it might have already grown up, but it's still expanding. Plants in general, they have two phases of growth, and usually it happens on specific points of that plant. When a plant grows initially, it grows up, right? It grows out. It has that growing tip and it continually grows and grows and grows. But after it grows up and that growing tip progresses, there's still the tissue that it's grown from and it's growing up. This still continues to grow, but instead of growing up, it now grows out in size and diameter and girth, and it continues to grow until it stops growing for the whole season. And you know, whether this is a tree, whether this is an annual, whether this is herbaceous perennial, most plants grow in this general way. So even when the plant has stopped, it's got its stem, but it continues to grow up, it's still growing down below, it's just growing out. So what you want to do when you're either doing support ties on a trellis, on a stake, or you're doing the, like Robin here, is it Robin? No.
Robin.
Is it Robin? Okay. Like Robin's doing for putting a label on the plant. Do it loosely so it can move around. It's not super snug around it. Make sure it's loose. And so that way the plant can continue to expand and it won't girdle and stop the growth of the plant. Because the last thing you want to do is have that tie start cutting off the plant's ability to circulate water and nutrients around the plant. And so if you do put it on too snug and it starts really growing on it and then started growing around it, you can stifle that growth, you can girdle the plant, you can actually kill the plant on that stem, or kill the stem on that plant. And so that keeping it loose is a really good thing.
Yeah.
So
I know it's hard to kind of get in there. Sometimes there's so much foliage and there's multiple stems coming out oftentimes, so it is a little bit of a balance, right?
It is. But yeah, just try and keep it loose because the last thing you want to do is hurt your plants and not let them stay healthy and not add more stress to them than they might be already under.
Yeah, you know, we've been loving these soft ties this year. Maybe you guys have used these before, but they're just... No, that's okay. We can throw them in the chat maybe in a minute. But they're just, they come in green or brown, so you can match the color of your stem, and they hide, the tie. But they're real soft, and they just twist. So
Yeah.
They've had them out for a while, but
They're nice.
We've never needed them, and we thought, let's try them this year, and we're liking them.
Yeah, totally.
And twine's what we usually use. But
Yeah, twine works okay, but this stuff actually is, it's softer.
Yeah.
It's got a softer touch around the plant, and it won't be as abrasive or as hard for a plant to be up against. So
well, and it
it's good
blends
stuff.
better.
It does blend
And
better.
we like that.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
comes in different colors. Yeah. So it totally
It's like
camouflages.
those stakes those metal stakes that are already green. That's really, it's nice because you want to support the plant, but you don't want it to stand out and be like the only thing you see is taking away from the plant, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So, okay, well, cool. So how
Awesome.
to harvest Zinnia's seeds.
Woo, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
here's another seed question. This is fun. So when to plant coneflower seeds?
When to plant
So this
coneflower
comes from Kim RN. So is it true that when growing coneflowers from seed that they grow foliage the first year and bloom the second year?
Yes, it's a very good question. So yeah, Kim, in general, yes, that is very true because a lot of coneflower seeds are started kind of a little bit later in the spring, and they get to a certain point. It's basically a time thing. It's a maturity thing for the plant. And so if you want your coneflowers to actually flower that first year when you seed them, you want to start the seeds indoors or in a greenhouse like January, February, and keep them protected, let them grow, do their thing. And when you get a jump on the growing season with those coneflowers, you're making sure and you're basically hedging your bets that they will flower later in the summer, because what happens is they just need to develop over time. They need that time to grow. And usually what happens is if somebody starts the seeds, if a gardener starts the seeds like say in March or April, and which is perfectly fine to do, there's nothing wrong with that, or they direct sow outside and they put the plants outside after the threat of frost is gone, those plants will grow, but they're just going to grow leaves and stems. And they're just that whole year, that's what you're going to get, because the plant just has not had enough time to mature to the point where it will actually flower. Now, if under that scenario you have that, the plant doesn't flower that first year, perfectly fine, that is normal. And what will happen is that next year, the following year, it should actually flower. It'll regrow if it's gone down back to the ground. It'll regrow that spring, and you should have flowers that year. But if you want it to flower in the same year that you planted it, start them early in January, February.
Totally. I mean, and if you're like us or like me, I planted coneflower seeds everywhere and forgot about them, and now they're coming up all over the yard.
Yeah, they are.
And we don't even know what color they are.
No,
it's going to be a fun surprise.
It's awesome. We have a jungle in certain areas of coneflowers. It's awesome.
Kind of forgot that I had planted those there.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
And then we had some that we planted that didn't come up at all, and we're pretty sure that either the birds got to them or they got moved around or something. So that was kind of a bummer, because we had remember like a couple of specific spots we direct sowed them in the fall. We were super bummed some of those didn't come up.
Yeah, we're pretty sure the squirrels and maybe the birds got them. But whatever, it's all good.
You know,
It's all good.
they get everything.
They got to eat too.
Squirrels have been crazy. We've had a resident raccoon in our yard, you guys. Actually, two of them, and we've seen them at night on our cameras and whatnot. But like they've been coming into our yard in the middle of the day or the morning or late or like early evening. Walking around our yard, getting into the cherry tree, which was really cute. Getting into our bird bath, actually, and getting water.
Yeah.
So we're thinking, wow. And we've also had a hawk that has been showing up a lot lately.
We've had some really warm weather here this year. It's not our normal weather pattern, let's say. Just keep it easy that way. And it's been really dry, as it has been in most places in the West. I mean, Intermountain West, Midwest, and then definitely out here on the coast. We're basically in a drought. And so it's been so dry. All the wildlife is searching and hunting for water and food. Yeah, and so usually we would chase the raccoons out, and we would chase the hawks out, because
we have so many birds.
Yeah, the hawks, big predator around here for a lot of our smaller birds, and so we would chase them out. But this year we're like, you know what? Let's let them get some water. You know, they need some water, so we're not running them off because it's pretty extreme
It's so
out here.
crazy, you guys. We were sitting out on our back deck the other day, and a hawk literally, before we even realized what happened, it landed probably 10 feet away from us in search of water. And we were like, oh my God, there's this huge bird in the yard. And usually they don't do that.
Nope,
So
they're not that tame, and they're not that desperate for water either. This hawk must have been really desperate for water.
I know. So anyway, that was kind of a side note, but it's been an interesting season so far.
Yes.
Mark wondered if we reuse soft ties. And I would say yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. We reuse everything we can.
As long as they still have their, they're still structurally usable and they're not overworked, yeah, we'll reuse them. Yeah. If we see any discoloration on them or there's some funky little growth or something on them, we'll treat them if we can. You know, a little bit of bleach in the water or something, or even just some soapy water, you know, some dish soap, whatever we have on hand that's close by, we'll just use that. And that should be fun. Yeah. It works for us anyway. So if you see some funkiness, some funky growth on anything you got there out in your garden, especially twist ties, either try and clean them or just throw them out because you don't want to spread stuff. Good question, Mark.
I know, that's fun.
Yeah, good question.
That was our last question for here. How's everybody doing in the chat? Are you guys, any questions pop up with any of the, anything we have on the table or any comments?
And I think you mentioned Sherry had some things that we were going to possibly come back to.
It wasn't Sherry.
Oh, it wasn't Sherry, sorry.
The question was about fertilizing and using fungicides in the heat. Like any tips or suggestions on that? Because I'm forgetting who asked that question. It was a great one.
Yeah, really good question.
And they're having trouble with their tomatoes, it sounds like.
So, yeah.
Stromy 53.
Oh, Stromy.
Stromy.
Hey, Stromy. Okay. The thing with funguses is there's a life cycle, right? Funguses do spread. They can spread by spores. There's the life cycle kind of goes through a dry, wet. Some of them do, some of them don't. But some things that you can do to help with that, besides putting down a fungicide. If you want to put a fungicide down, go for it. If you're comfortable with that, super awesome, because they work. They do really work really well. Just make sure to follow the label, especially for how to handle it, how to apply it, and any safety precautions. You know, you got to glove up, put some goggles on, do what you got to do. So, but really cool if you want to use those. What I would suggest you do, besides using any fungicides, is if you have like maybe part of the plant has this fungus on it, it's like on all the leaves of your tomatoes on one side of the plant. If you can get away with it, remove them. Cut those off, because that is literally going to remove that disease from the area and from the plant. Another thing you can do, hopefully you can control this. You can't really control the rain or high moisture levels in the air, but what you can do is control how wet those leaves get when you're watering. If you can, try not to get the leaves wet. If you might have a sprinkler going, an old-fashioned sprinkler out there, and it waters everything, and that's super cool, but if it's shooting onto the leaves of the plants and it's getting them wet over time, over and over and over again every day, that could be contributing to your fungus problem. And so if you can lessen any sprinklers shooting water and getting those leaves wet, that would be really cool too, because that'll lessen the perpetuation of that mold, of that fungus. Sorry, not mold, fungus. What is it? There's a couple other things. Removal, the water. Try and keep the plants as healthy as possible. Definitely fertilize those plants if you can, because that'll give them more strength. It'll help them be healthier to ward off and fight off some of those fungal diseases, or at least maybe compartmentalize and stop the growth. Plants have all these different mechanisms in their cellular structure and different things that they can do to help stop that growth and ward those areas off that are infected. So keeping them healthy is a really good way to do that. And you can use a liquid fertilizer. You can use a granular fertilizer. The well-balanced fertilizers are really easy to use because they just basically you just apply it and you're good to go. And it gives them everything it gives your plants everything that they really need to really stay healthy. What were you
I was thinking, and for the heat, there's probably a best time of day, obviously,
because
you're watering, especially if you're using a liquid fertilizer, you're watering probably morning or evening.
Totally, yeah, and good point. Yeah, under those conditions, especially, you want to keep the plants under the least amount of stress as possible. So make sure you're watering like in the late night or early morning when the plant's slowing down or at its lowest respiration, its breathing rate. And so that way it'll be under less stress to suck up all that water. It won't suck it up as fast because it'll be at a lower respiration rate. If you actually water the plants while it's really hot and they're sucking in the water, they're really not going to get enough, and you're going to have to continually water them over and over and over again, and that just basically they're in a stressful situation that can create worse conditions, or actually better conditions, worse conditions for the plant, better conditions for the fungus to actually thrive, because now the plant's more stressed. It can't fight that off or keep it at bay, keep the fungus at bay as it was doing before.
Which is what you don't want.
Yeah. So least amount of stress, good cultural practices, keep the area cleaned up too if you can. Make sure if there's any old flowers or old fruit or dropped leaves, don't let them sit around in your garden, even from other plants. Get it all cleaned up, keep it nice and clean, and so because the fungus and other organisms will use that material to nest and perpetuate themselves. So, hope that helps.
I know. I hope that let us know if you have any further questions about any of that.
Sorry you're going through that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this heat's. I mean, we love the heat because it does help the plants grow, but then it's such a bummer because it brings on a lot of other problems.
Yeah, it really
sometimes
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Wow.
All right. Well,
Cool.
I think we should probably move into our main topic, and you guys keep the questions coming. Thank you so much for all the awesome questions.
That was fun, you guys. Yeah.
A lot
Super
of
awesome.
good questions.
Woohoo.
So I'm sure we'll have some more by the end of the show, but I'm excited to talk about edible flowers. This is an interesting
Edible
topic because
flowers.
There's probably some edible flowers that you guys might picture immediately, like nasturtiums or maybe pansies. But there's a lot of other flowers that you can eat that you might have never thought about.
Yeah.
That you're already growing, potentially.
Totally. So here we go.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay, moving us over. I went the wrong
shrinking
way. We've shrunk.
and moving. Okay. So we thought, as we get started talking about edible flowers, it'd be good to introduce just kind of get us all on the same page. Just kind of what is an edible flower? What does that mean? And there we go. And then we've got a plant list for you of just a whole bunch of plants that are edible. Their flowers are edible. And then what we're going to do is break down 3 specific plants into just some further detail. So that's we thought that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It was
you guys.
fun for us to do
Yeah,
this research.
we actually learned a lot of plants in our garden that we can
know.
actually eat. We can actually use in our own food. It's fun.
Like begonias.
Yep.
So we'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
I mean, I would have never guessed that you can eat these.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
And not just eat the flowers, but actually eat pretty much the whole plant. We found out you can eat the plant.
A lot of plant parts. I mean, leaves, stems, roots, like all parts of the plant often are edible. Sometimes only the flowers are edible, and only the petals at that. Like you shouldn't eat the sepals. You should petals only, right? And no other plant part. So it's kind of like.
And and you can see our disclaimer. Excuse me, got some burps here. You can see our disclaimer here on the screen. Always do your own research. Look at each plant individually. Don't look at all these plants and say, well, I can eat the petals or the flowers of all these plants, because that's not exactly true.
Right.
There's very specific things about very specific plants. So do your own research, look up your information, know what you're allergic to possibly too, because you never know. And so we've got a website here too that we'll show you in a minute that you can go to help take these plants and add them to recipes.
Oh, I don't know if I put that right.
Oh, okay. Well, we got it here on
I'll
our
put
sheet,
it in the chat.
on our cheat sheet. So okay. So with that, let's move it. Oh no. Well, I guess.
No, we haven't actually. Let's break down this.
Edible flowers.
Okay.
So these are just basically it's just flowers that you can eat, right? It's the petals. It's possibly the whole flower itself, or the center of the flower that you can actually eat, and it's okay. It's not going to hurt you, right? It's really cool. And so, I mean, only in recent years have I actually given this a lot of thought. When I was doing training at WSU, and even all the experiences I had out, being a landscaper and a gardener and doing all these things, I never really thought about, hey, that's a pretty flower. Could I eat that? I don't know. I never really thought about it because I was too much into the maintenance. I was just not in that frame of mind. But this is cool to think about it from this different, through this different filter here. Now, the flowers can be prepared and eaten, like it says here on the screen, like vegetables. You can eat them as vegetables. Use them as a garnish. That's pretty cool. They can look pretty on a plate with some more food to really add to that presentation. And some garnishes you can eat too, so that's fun.
I know.
And then also as herbs, of course, right? But you never think of the flowers as an herb. You know, we always think of herbs as, you know, it's the leaves, the stems,
Like rosemary.
you know, yeah, like rosemary. So, you know, it's really fun to think about it through this filter and just get that in that frame of mind.
There's more. Did you do the?
Go ahead.
Or sorry, they can be also like a lot of the flowers can be found year round depending on the plant that you have or your own climate, right? So that's kind of fun. You can plant a garden of edible flowers year round, if you want, and then you just go out and I mean it's just like harvesting any herbs or whatever, but you're getting specifically just the flowers.
Yeah, think of it this way as you're planting for year-round flowering in your garden, where each season something's flowering, right? But also to the benefit of you can eat those flowers. So it's just, you know, that's something here that we wanted to point out.
That's fun.
So yeah, so okay. So next slide. Here we are. We're still shrunk on the right side of the page.
So
cool.
lots and lots of options, you guys. Check out this list, and this is alphabetical to help kind of move through it. So alliums, borage, daylilies. Did you know you can eat daylilies? Dianthus is edible. Calendula, and again, like Sean mentioned, our disclaimer, like not all, maybe parts of the flower is edible, or, you know, definitely do your own research. Chrysanthemums, fuchsias, hibiscus, honeysuckle.
Yep. Lavender, mint. I mean, mint, you know, it's like, yeah, mint, of course, the leaves, but also the flowers. So, yeah, and lavender, you think, well, lavender, yeah, it's an herb, but even the flowers can be used in different ways.
Yeah.
And so, so nasturtiums, pansies, pineapple sage, love pineapple sage. Roses, which is super cool, and then sunflowers, tuberous begonias, and zucchini flowers. And Allison was asking me about this last night. This question popped in her head. She's like, well, wait a minute, zucchinis, you want them to flower, so they do go to seed, and they do produce a fruit. So if you're removing the flower before it goes to seed, you're not going to get any zucchinis.
Sacrificing the fruit.
Yeah, you're sacrificing that vegetable. So it's like, what? So, but yeah, the flowers, people have taken the flowers and they use them in different ways.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So.
But yeah, so we're going to break down a few of these more specifically just to kind of give you some ideas. And I don't know, have you ever, I mean, maybe you've heard of hibiscus tea, or, you know, it can be used in different ways. So what we have here on this slide is how to grow the actual plant, which part of the plant is edible, when to harvest the flowers, and how to eat them. Like, how would you use them in a recipe?
Yeah, these are just a few examples. There's more ways too. So, but yeah, I mean, hibiscus, it's a beautiful plant. Yeah, Hibiscus Syriacus, if you want this specific species name, grows in full to parched sun, needs regular watering, well draining, fertile soil. It has a range. It has a pretty decent range to grow in, 5 to 9. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean this is one of the plants that we want to add to our garden.
We do.
And so you know, it's on our list of to-dos to get it here. And then it blooms in late summer into fall. So you can expect it to have those flowers ready to harvest and add to your teas, your cocktails, your juices, your jams, your sauces, all these different things. It's really cool.
I know, hibiscus cocktails. There was a recipe for a hibiscus margarita.
Oh,
so if you're into that kind of thing, that might be nice.
And you know what that makes me think? What about a hibiscus mojito?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. It's worth a try, right? Should we experiment? Yeah, let's experiment.
Yeah. We didn't actually include recipes, you guys, but we have, maybe I'll drop that in the chat.
Yeah, it's from what'scookingamerica.net, and they have, this is a huge page full of
it is huge.
So many
Looking
different
at it right
flowers.
now. Wow.
It's ginormous, and it's awesome. There's so many great ideas there. So so that's where you would go in general, but I'll read it off here, but Allison will drop it in there. So it's what'scookingamerica, all one word, .net /edible flowers /edible flowers main.htm. And that's where you want to go if you want to get specific recipes for a lot, and I mean a lot of different flowers to put in your food and to use in your cooking. Super awesome.
Like there's a recipe here for making flower petal tea. So of any flower that you want to grab, or they're using roses as an example, but how to make the tea.
Yeah.
That's fun. So yeah, you guys, it's kind of...
So, and to get back to hibiscus too, all the parts of the flowers and actually the plant are edible. So that's pretty cool. So you really can't go wrong
Even
with
the
that.
bark.
Yeah.
You can eat the bark. I mean, I know some people.
And who knows, there might be some type of pharmaceutical uses for the plant too. So that'd be cool. So when to harvest the flowers? As soon as they are open. You know, they only bloom for so many days. So once they open, you got to get out there if you want to use them in your cooking or for whatever you're making. Get out there and get them. Otherwise, they're going to wither and they're not going to be any good.
So interesting. So
yeah.
Hibiscus, a couple ideas for you to maybe consider. Maybe you grow it, and now you, I don't know, you never knew it was edible.
Yeah. So next up, nasturtiums. Of course, I think a lot of people know about nasturtiums just in general to eat the leaves. But the flowers.
Nasturtiums are always one that I think of, oh yeah, they're edible. You know, I think I've only tried them maybe once or twice, but
yeah, they're good.
I mean, it's an option.
Yeah, I think some people said they have maybe a watercress type of flavor to them, something like that. And in each nasturtium, there's different varieties, right? There's different cultivars, so they're going to have a little bit of different taste between them. So they might not taste like watercress. They might have a spiciness to them, might have a sweetness to them. But yeah, so nasturtiums, I'm going to say this is going to be fun. Tropaeolum majus.
I can't ever say that.
Yeah, I'm probably not saying it right, but we could probably find it online. To say it right, there's these different audio files you can find in Missouri Botanical Garden, and they say, you know, that's how you're supposed to say them. But so yeah, so nasturtiums, and you know, nasturtiums in general, they like full to part sun, regular watering, well-draining, nutrient-rich soil. These are so nasturtiums generally are annuals. They are grown with an annual cycle in mind. They are annuals. So. But they're zoned, they will grow in zones 1 through 10, so that's super cool. You can grow them in a lot of different places. Now the bloom is, they definitely bloom for a very long time if they're properly cared for, late spring through summer. That's pretty cool. I mean, we planted some out early this spring. They've been flowering continuously.
Tons of nasturtium.
So, excuse me. So that's really cool. Now, which plant parts you can eat or which part you can eat? All the parts. So again, it's just like the hibiscus, the flowers, the leaves, the stems, even the seed pods. That's really cool. It means you can use them in a lot of different ways. Now, when to pick and harvest the flowers, get them as soon as they're open, and when the plant is at least 6 inches tall. That's a maturity level thing for the plant. You want to give it, you want to let it develop a little bit. You don't want to just come into the plant and its first flower that comes out, you know, totally just harvest the plant and then, you know, expect it to come back. It's not. You got to leave part of the plant there when you're harvesting different pieces of the plant, not only the flower, so the plant can rejuvenate itself and keep growing. And the 6 inches tall piece is just making sure that the plant has enough above ground biomass to regenerate itself and stay living. So just keep that in mind if you're going to harvest anything from nasturtiums. So, and you can use nasturtiums in salads, garnishes, dips, and sauces. Love that.
Maybe even like sandwiches, because if you're using the leaves, you know, anywhere you use like a lettuce or a green, you can substitute it with a nasturtium leaf.
Well, and you can see the examples up here in the pictures. You know, they've got them around some deviled eggs, which I love deviled eggs. Oh my
really
God. Good. And then in a salad there, and that far right picture there, in a salad, they got the leaf and they've got the bloom.
And it's so beautiful. What a pretty presentation. You know, you don't think to... I mean, sometimes you're in a hurry and you're just, oh, I just want to eat my greens, but it's like, it's so beautiful.
It's really, really pretty.
I know.
So, okay, so that's the
that's a fun
second one. So hibiscus, nasturtiums, and now tuberous begonias.
This one really surprised me. I never thought that this would be edible, and apparently most begonias are edible. Yeah. Wax begonias,
yeah, we found out. We're both very surprised.
Really surprised.
Yep.
So how to grow tuberous begonias. We focus just on this type of begonia. They grow well in full to partial sun or even partial shade. Regular water. They need well-draining, nutrient-rich soil, like most plants that we're talking about today. Zones 2 through 10, but you're going to need to lift them if you're lower than 9. Yep. So 9 and 10, you can leave them in the ground. As some of you already probably know. And maybe grow in a bit. Like we're gonna have to lift ours.
Yeah, and this is typical for a lot of different bulbs that are hardy to certain zones and aren't hardy in other zones, but you can still grow them in those zones. So
that's a good point. And we're in zone 8B. We always forget to say that, but that's where we are. So yeah, we'll definitely have to lift ours. Yep. So which part to eat? Now there was some like there were some differing opinions on this. So this is definitely a plant to do some more research if you want to try this out, because there was several websites that say just the flower petals are edible, But there were other websites and seed companies that say that you can eat the whole plant. So I'm kind of leery on I would say we were thinking flower petals to be safe.
Yeah, keep to the flower petals. It might be separate. It might be different from begonia to begonia, like tuberous begonia to tuberous begonia. Some might be edible all the way through, eat the whole plant. Some might not be.
I know.
Depending on how they've been bred, how they've been treated and handled, and how they've evolved. So just keep that in mind. Get specific when you're adding any, not only tuberous begonias, but any plant parts from your garden to your food. Get specific, do your research, because we want you to be happy. We want you to be healthy with this stuff. We don't want you to have something bad happen. So do your research. Can't say that enough.
I know. And I mean, like Sean said, we just want to make sure you're protecting yourself and we're protecting ourselves, because we're just giving ideas and
totally.
So yeah. So take that into consideration. Again, either the petals, maybe more of the plant, but when to harvest? Well, as soon as they flower, as soon as they open. You can put them in salads, again, garnishes. You can make vinegar out of them. The stems apparently can be used in place of like a rhubarb.
Ooh, rhubarb.
So that's, again, an option there. They're calling out the plant stems, where other websites said only the flower petals are edible. So it's kind of like there's mixed reviews on that one.
So if you got rhubarb pie, you got begonia pie?
Begonia pie? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, again, we've got some tuberous begonia. No, these tuberous?
No, those are
just regular
not
begonias.
tuberous. Those are regular.
We have tuberous begonias outside, and I don't know if I don't know. They're gorgeous.
We'd have to do a trial. We'd have to trial it out. Yeah, experiment out. And just do a little piece and see what happens.
I know. Have you guys ever tried any of your begonias? Have you ever tried anything? Did you know, this isn't a flower necessarily, but did you know you can eat your Dahlia tuberous roots? Those are edible. There's different, it's just kind of fun to, some people experiment. We have some people that are chiming in. Okay, so.
Some really cool stuff here.
So Casey, hi Casey, thank you for joining us.
Hi Casey.
Casey said that hibiscus tea is a great alternative to sports drinks. Great replacement. So
oh wow, that's interesting.
That's energizing, and that's really fun.
That's interesting. Here, we're going to put this up.
Jennifer Tennyson says, this is so cool. They always eat the male they always eat the male flower petals after they hand pollinate the zucchini.
Awesome.
So what a fun thing, because what else are you going to do with
them?
Well,
that makes sense that you would do that too, because you've literally helped them with the reproductive cycle. You're going to get your zucchini, you're going to get your vegetable out of it. Awesome.
I know, such a cool tip.
Cool,
you
right
need
on.
to just waste it. And now maybe a lot of you didn't know that you can eat the zucchini flower petal. Yeah. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see, what else have we tried? Casey also mentioned that Nasturtium vinegar makes a great addition to salad dressings. That is cool. I want to try that.
Good tip. Yeah, totally. Awesome.
I love that. Sharon LaFay mentioned that Sharon's made a wrap using the leaves of, I'm assuming you meant nasturtium, because we were talking about nasturtium vinegar.
Oh, cool. Wow.
So that's fun,
nasturtium wrap.
Replacement for any green, right?
That'd be fun. Good idea.
A little bit different flavor.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good idea, Sharon.
Sharon also loves putting calendula petals in her salad.
Oh, awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah. This is really cool ideas. This whole episode was really interesting to me, because I'm not super adventurous, I guess, when it comes to food that often. So it really gave me a lot of ideas. We've tried fuchsia before. The little bean or seed pods are actually edible, but the flower's edible. Apparently the stems and leaves and everything are edible. So that's one that I've tried out of the garden.
Yeah.
Nasturtiums as well, I think.
I've eaten the leaves before, just right off the vine, right off the plant. They're good.
From the nasturtiums?
Yeah. Not from ours per se, but
I don't think I've tried ours.
In the past.
But pansies, violas, those are edible, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. What have you guys tried?
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic to consider.
It really is.
We usually, a lot of us here, we love our ornamentals. We want to grow them for flowers and the beauty. And
a lot of time it's for the beauty, so we leave them alone. Don't touch them unless you have to. Leave them alone. Let the plant be. But really, you can get in there and clip this, get that, harvest it, and bring it inside and eat it.
I know.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this literally was just a taste of a huge topic, as always.
No pun intended.
Right. We just want to just kind of open some of your minds to just the ideas of just what can be maybe edible or what's not. There's so many more.
Oh, yeah.
We could spend hours on this topic.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There's whole classes on this probably in culinary school.
I know, that's fun.
Just to bring that stuff together, yeah. So
yeah,
guys. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And yeah, let us know if we can answer any questions from what we presented here. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know, but I think we're going to move on from that, you guys. And we've got, let's see, moving on to a couple last slides that we kind of usually wrap up our show with. And again, keep the comments and questions coming. But we've got, since we took last week off, we weren't able to collect any photos from you guys for your garden, kind of showing off your gardens, your containers, your favorite plants in your yard, whatever you have. So we want to remind you of to send us your garden photos so we can feature them on this live. We would love to show your photos and maybe give us a little description of what's going on or what plants are in the photo. That's always really helpful.
Yeah, and especially for today, if you use any of your flowers in dishes that you make on a regular basis, take a picture of it and send us a picture of the dish that you have made with your nasturtium leaves, your hibiscus flowers, or any of the other plants that you use out of your garden. We'd love to see them and love to see how you're using them, not only in your garden, but also in the food you're making.
I love that.
That'd be cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, and all the other, anything else we presented here that you've watched before, you can send us those too. If you have, we did natural garden pest control.
I would love to see updates on anyone's moon garden if you have.
Any of the topics that we've covered, feel free to take a picture and send it to us. And we want to showcase what you're doing out in your garden. So we're up on the screen there. Definitely send it to our email or tag us on social media, and we'll grab that off the social media and get it on here to present to everybody else and show everybody.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So. Okay,
so
that's
quick tea break. Okay, so with that, we've got a couple of things. We have, as you guys as well, probably like 1,000 things are blooming right now.
Oh, yeah.
So it was actually hard to narrow this down, but we've got 6 photos to show.
Busy time in the garden.
It's a really busy time of year, I know.
So.
Spring and summer, right?
Yep.
But thank you guys. We'll get to that in a minute. So what's growing? We've got lots of fun things.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. So up there in the left-hand upper corner, our Shasta Daisies, of course. We showed those yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday's plant chat on Friday. And so yeah, go check that video out if you want any growing tips or just its regular needs out in your garden that'll help it grow and thrive. Also in the center there, upper center, Gallardia Arizona Sun. And that does remind me, if you've ever been to Arizona, that flower looks a lot like, it's a very good reminder of Arizona. It's hot, it's beautiful, and it's bright and sunny.
Colorful.
And yeah, it's just the Arizona sun, it hit it. It did.
Love that.
So upper right-hand corner campanula, that's actually flowering right now out in our garden. It's a little bit after, those flowers a little bit after our larger size campanula plant out there.
I know, we have 2 different.
Yeah, and so these are the smaller ones. These are mounders, and I don't think they're getting much above 6 to 8 inches. Really, the flower blooms might get up to 10 to 12 inches, but that's it. I mean, they are so small.
They're kind of compact, which is cool. We have several of them kind of lining this walkway. Sadly, we didn't save any of the info, so we need to do some real research to dig in and find out. I think we figured it out a couple years ago exactly what those were. Maybe last year.
Maybe.
So sorry we don't have that info, but
there's a lot of different varieties and cultivars of these mounders out there. So don't feel discouraged if we don't have the specific one here. There's a lot of different options out there, especially where you live. If it's zoned for where you live, check with your local nurseries.
Oh, totally.
And they'll be able to let you know the specific cultivars and varieties that are there.
Yeah, good call.
So that lower left-hand corner there, Delina Grande Tequila.
Oh, I love this. This is a proven winner's dahlia that we ordered this year, and we are so happy with it. Look at those colors.
Not only a beautiful flower, but what a name.
Oh, I know. The name is awesome. I just love it. Oh, so excited that. And apparently it's just a profuse bloomer. This is a new one for us this year, so we'll let you know later in the season. But, I mean, you can see in the background all the blooms coming in.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it's just super full. Next up on that center lower photo there, Cheyenne Spirit, Echinacea,
Yay.
yep, our coneflower. Now this is one of our favorites, and we planted this last year.
Yes.
And it has really come back with a vengeance.
Huge.
I mean, it is just exploded this year.
And this, we planted it in this very large container, and yeah, like Sean said, we just love it. It made an appearance in our book, a couple pictures.
Yep. And then the very last lower right-hand corner, Chimney Rudbeckia.
Yay.
Woohoo! Beautiful plant.
So excited to see those.
Yeah.
We got those seeds from Floret Farms. That was a fun one that we actually got last year. So this is last year's seed batch. So, well, this grew, yeah, this is the second year of these.
Yeah, the second year, this is when it's really, it didn't flower last year because it is a biennial. And so there are Rudbeckia species out there that are perennials, but the Rudbeckia hirta, the true black-eyed Susans, they are biennials. And so last year, it just grew leaves and stems, and this year just exploded with those flowers in that second year. So yeah, we are so happy to see those, and we can't wait to have more of those in our garden.
I know, those are really pretty.
We'll have to get seeds from those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Wow. So cool, you guys.
Maybe we should do some seed swapping on here, you guys, eventually. Maybe we
Oh, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah.
send out some seeds, and
Totally.
it's really gorgeous. Yeah,
So-
so that's just like we were saying, that's just a tiny sample of like a whole bunch of stuff that's blooming right now, and
Yeah.
so fun. It's a
Yeah.
busy time of year.
Yeah. So chime in on the chat. Let us know, and let everybody else know what's blooming right now in your garden in almost the middle of July.
Oh, there's probably
my
so
gosh.
many things
Yeah.
for so many people, right?
Yeah. And so with that, let's look at our video roundup.
Oh, just a quick, I know, there's just,
Yeah, only 3 this week, but that's cool. So
yeah, so we had a short, we had all of last week's videos as well, but we did aphids on petunias. That was a really, hopefully useful, lots of tips there for that.
that was a fun one.
That was a fun one. How to stake dahlias. So we have, a couple options for you for staking, like different ideas and different supplies that you can use.
Yeah. And in that video too, we came up with our own kind of trellis system that we built specifically for our L-shaped beds. And we show that in the video, and we explain a lot more in that video. So you should check it out if you're interested.
Oh, totally. Right. And then yesterday we dropped our Friday plant chat, which was Shasta Daisies.
Shasta
And we
Daisies.
explained, if you watched that video, thank you for watching. We also explained that this was a total redo kind of update from the previous video that we did last year. When we had just started YouTube and started filming.
And started the plant chats. And in that first video, it wasn't in bloom.
It was a
and
little
so
thin.
it was,
yeah. Oh yeah, and right.
Yeah, so that was an interesting video.
Lots of things that we've learned since last year about filming, and yeah. So we really were excited to do an update and kind of revise that whole video and get that to you.
Yep, good video. So we also talk about deadheading and how to help the Shasta Daisies keep blooming throughout the year and not shut down after the first bloom. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested.
Oh, I just want them to keep blooming all season. Just keep going until fall if they can, because they're just so beautiful.
Yeah, totally.
So
that's what's blooming in our garden.
I know.
Should
Well,
we check
okay,
the chat?
so
oh, cool.
wanted to say a shout out and thank you to Sherry and Andrea B, who both said thank you for the great show and
thanks you
for
guys.
sharing our knowledge, and we really appreciate that, you guys.
Thank you.
Mark's really liking that Chimney Rudbeckia.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, you got to get some, man.
I know.
Got to go get you a chimney.
And Andrea B said she's in love with the Shastas.
Awesome.
So
are we.
We are too. And like we mentioned earlier, Mark had a comment on our video yesterday about all the different amazing types of Shasta Daisies that he's growing. And I've got I looked them all up, and I've got at least 3 of them on our list now.
That's
the
awesome.
Oh La La Spider and the, I'm forgetting all of them now. Belgian Lace, I think, was one of the
Sounds familiar.
It was gorgeous. Oh, I love that.
Good stuff.
Oh, the Cher.
Oh, the Cher.
Sweet Birdie Cher.
Yeah, it was named
Sweet
after.
Daisy
It's
Cher.
partially named after the singer Cher.
I love that one.
So,
it's so beautiful.
It is a diva of a flower. It looks like it looks like a diva of a flower. If you can give it a personality.
It's on the list. Speaking of, you guys, we got to share this with you. I'm way more excited, but we finally found our coneflower search. The coneflower search is over. we found our supreme cantaloupe echinacea.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's not in bloom yet, but
It's getting there.
it's getting close.
It's really close. You
and
can see right up there. It's really close. Yep. And there's
wait to
other
see it.
smaller ones down here. So, yep.
I know this isn't, I mean, some of you probably already grow this, but I've been wanting this one for a while.
It's going to look like that.
Oh,
so
excited.
Yeah, if you want to know.
So, of course, when I picked that one up, I had to get another double echinacea, which is like a lemon sorbet or something. It's a yellow double.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to see
Those
that.
are both going in probably our terrace, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Ooh, can't wait. So, yay.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys, yeah.
Yeah, what a show. That was fun, you
that's it
guys.
for today. We didn't
Yeah,
have
that was
any
super
tech
fun.
problems.
No tech problems.
Woo!
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
We didn't have to restart the computer and start a whole new
know.
live. So wins
That's a
all
win.
around.
That's a win right there. Yeah. So we're
Yeah, you guys. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here. We love the back and forth. We love chatting with you guys. You know, all the things that are going on in your gardens. So awesome. And yeah, we just feel really grateful that to be able to do this.
I know, very grateful. Thank you for being here, you guys. Thank you for sharing your questions and your comments, and share your pictures so we can show them next week. Next week's live, you know, our topics are a little bit in flux right now for July because we kind of had ideas and we're kind of tweaking them a little bit. So our topic might be TBD at this point.
Yeah, we were thinking possibly either garden festivals coming up later on in the summer, or even like just general tips and how to start taking your own garden photos. Because we have a garden photographer, like a professional container garden photographer that we know, but we're not sure about that topic yet.
I know,
so,
and that maybe could come later too. I don't know. We're kind of in flux a little bit, as you can tell. So,
but like Allison said, TBD, and next week, no matter what, it'll be fun because you guys are here.
I know.
So
we look forward to seeing you guys. Mark just said technology was not a pest this week, so that's a win.
Woo-hoo.
So we're just happy that, thank you guys for sharing your morning with us, or your afternoon,
really,
or your evening.
Yeah,
or if you're watching later.
Or your Sunday if you're in India or other parts of the world.
Right, or watching the replay.
Yeah, or watching the replay. Yeah,
or watching this. I don't know if you guys knew this. We haven't mentioned, but we actually we air this live as a podcast every Wednesday. So we have a whole different audience that chimes in over there, and we're very thankful for those of you that are listening as a podcast.
Totally, yeah. And if you want to check it out, or if you want to hear the audio of this, go to your favorite. We're on basically all of the podcast platforms, the major ones anyway. So go on your favorite podcast platform, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or
Spotify,
Google,
right?
Spotify. We're even on Pandora, and search for Spoken Garden, and it should come up. We should come up in there, and you can find this live by this date, July 10th, and because we number all these by the date we released them and when we went live on YouTube, so you can find different topics based on that. So if you want to listen to us on audio, you can do that.
Just another option.
Yeah,
you know, we
totally.
like options.
Totally. Yeah.
So thank you, though,
Yeah,
you guys,
thanks,
for
you
being
guys.
here. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Have an awesome Saturday and Sunday. Yeah,
Yes.
totally. And stay safe. It's hot.
I know.
Yeah.
Definitely
So.
Stay hydrated and stay safe out there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yep,
And
totally.
as always, just thank you for being here.
Yep. Thanks, you guys. Yep. And just be safe. Have a great Saturday
Bye,
and Sunday.
everybody.
Bye.